back to my channel. So I'm going to be showing you guys how to make a circle or shoulder dress, and for that I'm going to be using this fabric here. It's about 4 yards of fabric, and it's cut by 60 I think 60 inches. It's not an Akara fabric, and it has like just a little bit of stretch to it. And then this is my scissors, chalk and tape. So the first thing I'm going to do is to fold the fabric. So guys, this is the fabric I'm using here. If you open it up, this is what it looks like. Remember I told you guys it's 4 yards, right? So what I did is, this is the end here, it runs this way. So I took this part here, folded it to meet this end here, right? The two ends of the 4 yards of fabric, I pinched it together this way and then folded it out, right? So this is what it looks like now. So I just folded the fabric into two like this, right? Because I want to cut the two together. I want to cut both the front and the back. So I'm cutting the two panels together. So the next thing because this is not a circle dress, right? So the next thing I'm going to do is to fold it this way, right? If your fabric is not the length of the dress you're making, if it won't be enough to fold this way, like the way I just did mine, you see, this is the end of the two. I'm just trying to make sure you guys can see. This is the end of the two, right? The next, just the same way. See, I'm cutting it this way, like not fully this way, but just halfway through. So guys, what I'm saying is, I'm not trying to make like a lot of flay, right? Because the more I move it this way, the more flay I'm going to have on the dress. I just don't want a lot of flay, so I'm going to reduce it now. So I'm going to make it almost halfway through this way, right? So I folded it now. So now I'll start cutting. I'll start marking the lines I'm going to need here. So the first thing you're going to do is to check your bust measurement divided by 4. So the bust measurement I'm working with divided by 4 is going to be 12, right? So 12 plus extra 1 inch is going to be 13. So you just start from the beginning of the angle that you made and find where 13 fits in. So for me, the 13 is going to fit in somewhere here, right? So mark, this is my 13 here. I'm going to mark it. And guys, when you're folding the fabric, if you fold it this way and find out that the length of your dress will not fit in, remember mine is by 60, so I still have so much length to fit in. If you find out that yours cannot fit in this way, maybe you're working with a 46 inches fabric, another way to do it is just take the two ends, right? These two ends here. This one is the folded, this here is the folded end, right? What you're going to do, if you spread it out this way, the next thing you can do is just to fold it this way, right? This way. Fold it like an angle this way. So now you're taking up the length of the dress from this angle, and then you now divide your bust measurement by 4 and then try to find where it fits in. The bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1 inch for seam allowance. Find where it fits in and then start cutting. You will still get the same, at the end you still get the same flay, right? You still get the same flay. You see how it looks here. So you still get the same flay at the end. So guys, the one I used is the one I'm using for myself, because my fabric is by 60, is the length of the fabric, right? That's the side of the fabric. But for you, if your fabric is by 45, then you might want to use the width, which is this side of the fabric, and then just try to make your own angle yourself, like fold it this way. Now you formed an angle, right? And then you start cutting. So that's basically how you do it. So let me go back to what I was doing before. So the way I folded the fabric now, I'm just going to place it this way. Like I said before, I don't want a lot of flay. So this is my own angle here from the side. That's the length. So guys, I folded mine. divided my bust measurement by 4, so 12 plus 1, what I got when I divide, the bust measurement is 48, divided by 4, 12, plus 1 extra inch for seam allowance, that's 13. So find where 13 fits in on your angle, put it there. So make a line. I have 2 chalks just to make sure it's visible here. So mark with a ruler, mark your line. So this here is my line. Let me go back in again. So this here is my line that I'm going to be working on. So the next thing you're going to check is your shoulder measurement. The shoulder measurement I'm working with is 17 divided by 2, that's 8.5. So you go back again, find where 8.5 fits in here. So my 8.5 fits in at this point here. So mark 8.5, right? Mark 8.5 here. You might, so you mark your 8.5 at this point, come in by an inch, right? So I'm going to come in by 1 inch here. So this is going to be my line for my armhole. Then on this line that I came in now, I'm going to go up by 2 inches. You can make yours, if you want the neckline higher, you can go with 2.5. I'm just working with 2 inches. So I'm going to go up by 2 inches, right? And I'm going to mark that same 2 inches all the way on this end too, right? So the space between these two is about 2 inches. Mark 2 inches all the way to the end here. So make sure that it fits in here. So now I'm going to mark my armhole. So this is going to be the armhole now. So right here is going to be your armhole. So that's basically it for the top part of this dress. So let me go through what I said again. Mark your line, right? You mark the line that you're working with. How you get the line is your bust measurement divided by 4 plus 1, or plus half an inch for your seam allowance. You mark the line. The next thing you're going to do is your shoulder measurement. You put in your shoulder measurement divided by 2. Whatever you get, you put it in here, and then plus 1 inch. The 1 inch is the you just go in by 1 inch from the whatever you got as your armhole. So this is mine here. Sorry, this is the line I'm supposed to use here for my armhole. So now this is my armhole. So guys, so the 1 inch you come in to, like if you come in by 1 inch, so remember you divided your bust measurement by your shoulder measurement. This line is your bust measurement line, right? The next inches that you got, which is this one here, is your shoulder measurement divided by 2. You came in by 1 inch, which is this second line here. So from this second line here, you go up by 2 inches, right? These 2 inches, that this line that you make here, this is now going to be your new armhole line. You understand? So this here is going to be the armhole now. Starting from this point, is going to be your armhole. And then you go up 2 inches all the way through. 2 inches all the way through and mark it. So that's how I got this line on top here. So now I'm done with this top part. I'm going to cut the length of the dress. So from the length of the dress, what you're going to do is to put your tape here. This line of your bust here, whatever you got as your armhole, right? When you divided your armhole by 2, you put it on your bust, this line that you made here. So I got 8.5. So I'm going to use this 8.5 now to check what the length of my dress would be. So the dress length I'm working with is about 33.5. So guys, the dress length I'm working with is about 33.5. So I'm going to make it 34.5. That's extra 1 inch for the folding of the end here. On this line on top here, these 2 inches that I went up with, if you want, you could make yours 2.5, so that when you attach the band on the shoulder, the 0.5 will go in as your seam allowance on top there. But I want my seam allowance, I want these 2 inches to, I want the half an inch I'm going to take out for attaching the band on top here to come from that 2 inches. So I want it smaller. I don't want it longer than that. So that's why I didn't add any extra inch here. So I'm going to mark mine at 34, right? So I'm going to keep my tape here and then just mark at 34. So guys, I'm going to just repeat myself. So how I got to mark this length is your armhole, right, divided by 2. You place whatever you get on the line of this bust line here. So for me it's 8.5. So that's how you now put your tape, whatever length you want to use. Me, I'm using 33, so plus extra 1 inch. I'm using 33.5 plus extra 1 inch, so that's how I got 34.5 as the length here. So you just move it all the way to the end here. Just make sure that your tape is like that, and then the next thing you're going to do is you come to this end here, because when you cut, if you cut it the same length all the way through, then this part might have a pointy, it might look pointy, so it's better to make it maybe go up by 1 inch here, right? So go up by 1 inch on this end and then connect it, blend it in, right? So that's what I did. Go up from 1 inch from here and then blend it in here, so you have like a circle curve at that end. So that's basically it. So now you just cut out everything. So guys, I've opened mine up and this is what it looks like. So this is where I'm going to put the band, and then this is going to be, I'm going to use like a piece of fabric to fold the armhole here. So, and remember 1 inch is still coming off from the 2 sides, right? That's why it looks this long. Remember, I used 1 inch as my seam allowance, but you can use ½ inch, it depends on you. But that's why this end looks as if it's too long here for the armhole. Remember, 1 inch is coming off, so this is what I'm going to be left with. So let's cut the band. So guys, I've cut the band I'm going to be using for the top of this dress here. So the length I'm using for this is about 5 inches, right? I'm using 5 inches here. So that way, when I fold it into 2, I'm going to tuck in about ½ inch on each side. So I'm going to be left with 2 inches on this side, 2 inches on the other side. And another thing I did is that, how I got the length here is that I divided the shoulder measurements, like round your shoulder, or round your shoulder where the off shoulder is going to be, right? I divided it, for me I got 52, so I divided what I got by 2, right? I divided it, so I got 26. I added extra 1 inch so that I can use ½ inch to ½ inch on each end. So ½ inch on this end here, and then ½ inch on this end here. So that's how I'm going to do it. So altogether, the length I have for mine is 27. That's 26 plus 1 inch, 27. So I'm going to fold it into 2, and the next thing I'm going to do now is, so guys, this is the sleeve here, right? I've folded the 2 of them. So let me show you guys. So this is it here. I folded it into 2, and then after folding it into 2 here, if you have the white stay, you can iron it in on the wrong side, but I don't have it, so I'm just going to, and the fabric is stretchy, so I don't want to use that. So this is what you're going to do after folding it this way, right? You're going to take out about 1/4 inch from the top part here, like the folded part. You're going to subtract it, so that because you know when you go to sew, if you sew a straight line, then when you wear it, this part here will be picking out. But if you cut the line this way, then when you wear it, because the upper part of your shoulder, uppermost part of your shoulder is narrower than as you're coming down to your arm, so that's why you need this point here to go this way. So I'm going to subtract about 1/4 inch from mine, and then blend in the line to the end. So you see what I'm saying? I'm going to cut it out. I've gone ahead and closed up this end. So this is how you're going to do it. You just stitch up the end. You see, it's supposed to look something like this. It goes in and out, in and out. So this is what it looks like. So that the next thing I'm going to do is to open it up and then fold it this way, right? And I also notched it here to know the center. I notched it at the center here. I notched it here, I notched it here, and I also notched it here, so I know the center of the fabric. So guys, I used a bias to finish up the end here, the side here. You see, I used a piece of cloth to fold the end. I folded this side too, and then I also stitch up the sides. So I came down from the armpits, I came down by about 11 inches and added my pocket. So there's a pocket here, and then this is the end of the dress here. So the next thing I'm going to do is, at the top part of this, I also gave it a notch, right? I folded it into two, found the center, gave it a notch. So open it up, find the notch that I gave at the center of this band here. So this is the notch here, like this angle here. So I'm going to, you see the notch that I gave here. So I'm just going to, one is going to be for the front, one is at the front, one band at the back. So I'll make sure that the notch is here, and as you can see, this here goes sideways, right? That's the point of the whole chipping off at the end. So what I'm going to do now is put this here, use a pin. If your fabric is stiff, then you can iron yours, fold it in and then iron it, but mine is just a little bit stretchy, so I'm just going to pin it down. So I'm going to put, maybe I'll start with the one at the back here. So take this notch that I made here, fold this way, and then put it in, right? Put it in here, and then close it up by folding this way, right? And then make a stitch all the way to the end. And then when I get to this point here, the end here, that's where the armhole starts, I'm going to make a zigzag stitch, like a double stitch on it, so it doesn't lose. So I'm going to also do the same thing, and then fold the rest, like when I get to this point. So guys, when I get to this point, I'm going to fold it in, stitch it double like I said, and then stitch all the way around. Attach the front panel too, stitch it all the way around to the end. Guys, I've finished the dress. This is what it looks like. I've attached the band, and it has two pockets by the side here. It has two pockets here. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any questions or any suggestion, you can drop it in the comment below. Please like, share and subscribe. Bye.